Hi, this is Handy Doctor. Today, we are going to talk about the diagnosis and replacement of a pressure switch on a furnace. I have to emphasize that this was a job I did several years ago. Back then, I did not take a very good picture of it, so I tried to get some new pictures and use the old picture to try my best to tell you what's going on. And honestly, the procedure to replace it is very easy anyway. It's what? It's the diagnosis, the process that I figure out the problem that is more important. And I hope that we can all learn something from it. So, what was the problem? Well, this is a furnace, right? So it's about heating, and obviously right now we don't need a heater at the moment, but in wintertime we do need one. It gets pretty cold out here. But what's the problem? Okay, first of all, I bought this house used. It's only 6 year house though. Okay, so only 6 years back then. So very new. And the heater obviously should be just 66 years old, not a very old one. But sometimes the heater will quick. Okay, for example, I set the thermostat to like 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will quick like at 68 or even 65. When I get back home, so cold inside the house. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so what's going on with it? Right, I have to fix it somehow. I have to tell you that this is my first house. I did not know a whole lot about furnace, but I do keep in mind it burns natural gas, and that by itself could be a little bit dangerous. I consider myself pretty handy, but because it's pretty new to me, I was trying to be very careful with it. So I always keep that in mind. I may have to hire somebody to fix it. Two issues here, right? Gas itself is dangerous. We all know that. And because the gas will burn gas with oxygens, okay? And that could generate carbon monoxide if we do not have enough oxygen. And this is a killer. We all know that. I definitely do not want to put my family in danger. So I always keep that in mind. Anyhow, I decided to get started. So here is my furnace. Honestly, I took this picture just today. So that's actually quite many years after my job. And it's a pretty typical Luxor furnace. And this is the part number. If you open this door, easy enough, you just pull the handle upwards and you can take it out, and there is a label inside. Here is the model number of my furnace. So I get those informations handy because I did that several years ago when I really do the job. Also, here is a diagnosis windows on the bottoms. So if the furnace doesn't do the right job, like I said, it quick when it hasn't reached the temperature. You can see a light will blink inside and can count how many it blink and try to get a diagnosis code out of it. And I know it blinked for 6 times. Okay, so that's all the information I know back then. Luckily, my previous owner, in fact, kept me the menu. Just put them in one of the drawers. So I found the menus. So here is the menus. And I look at 6 fresh. Okay, what does that mean? It tells you that the pressure switch opened 4 times during the call for heat. Okay, I get it. So something about the pressure switch. I totally have no idea what that thing was at that moment. But you know what? We have Google, so I just Google a little bit and see what's going on. And that's what I learned here. Okay, the pressure switch. Why we have that one? And why that one is so important? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Remember, it is a gas furnace, isn't it? Right? We burn gas with oxygens, and oxygen is inside air. the air provide the oxygens, and that will give you heat. Okay, of course, you also generate water and carbon dioxide, hopefully. We have a molder, so a molder will suck the air and provide the air to the burner, and the burner will use the oxygen. So basically, simple as that. Now, how do you know the molder is working properly? This is the job of the pressure switch. If the molder works well enough, you will generate a high enough pressures. Okay, and in that case, the machines, the furnace know that we should have enough oxygen to burn the gas. So we will generate water and carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide, big no-no. So in other words, the pressure switch is a safety device. It makes sure that the furnace have enough oxygen to burn, and we do not generate carbon monoxide to kill anybody. Sounds pretty simple. So what does that mean then? Should I just replace the pressure switch? Well, not so quick. When I look over the internet, basically everybody said, what's this? This pressure switch never go back. Okay? This should be the last things you should suspect. Wow, never goes back. The last one you should suspect. Got to be kidding me, isn't it? So what does that mean? It means that if there is an indication there's a problem with the pressure switch, usually it is something else. Well, that wasn't very helpful, wasn't it? It never failed. Seriously? Well, I decided to study a little bit more about the pressure switch. So I know what the reading should mean. Usually on a pressure switch, you will see a number, for example, something like this, 0.8 inch WC. Okay, you may say, what does that mean? The W here means water, and C is column. Okay, so in other words, it will measure a pressure, okay, and the pressure on this case is 0.8 inch water column. You do not really need to worry about what that means. If you still remember, that's good. If you do not remember what you learned from high school, that's okay. So that is the reading we are looking for. The bigger the number, the bigger the pressure difference, meaning the bigger the molder is. And that means can provide more oxygen in that case. Okay, so that is the basic idea. Well, even though it said it never failed, but my problem is that, and everything else seems working. Okay, so I decided to look into that. Okay, so it's very simple. Again, we just take this cover up, just pull it up and lift it up, and here is the pressure switch. As a matter of fact, by the way, this is the correct one, the one that I put on later on, and I took picture today. Okay, so that was not the incorrect one, but anyhow, they should look the same. That is the pressure switch. Back then, I decided to take it out and have a look. Okay, but before I did that, I have the menu, don't I? So I decided to look at which pressure switch should be. So the menu includes many models, and if you remember, I don't think you do, but anyhow, this is my model, and here is the pressure switch, and here is the model number, and you see I have 5 burner. A 6 burner one will have a different one. You see that one of the digits is different, and I would suspect that it's one with a higher reading anyhow. So I know which pressure switch I should use. Now let's look at the one on my. This is when I took it out, okay? And the label, the model number is not in the same format, okay? So if you remember, this was the one, not in the same format. It also has a different model number, looks like it. But it's still not the same one, right? Well, good thing again we have Google, so I decided to Google this long number. And guess what I find out? Now remember though, the correct model here, you see that it's 27634, okay? And there is an incorrect one here, is 27637. Honestly, this is a picture I get today. But I told you back then, I Googled all over the internet, I found many pictures and many descriptions. And you know what? For these ones, it has both model number, and this is the one that for the 6-burner. Wrong one. Very crazy. And I swear, I really searched all over the internet. Make sure that it really indeed was a mismatch. After I was very convinced that it was a mismatch, do you think what my reaction was? I cursed. I definitely cursed. Cursed really badly. Because what? Because this is a super important part. Wasn't it? And it was not the right one. I was convinced that was not the right one because all the informations over the internet are consistent with each other. Not only the internet forums or parts stores or some of the pictures, everywhere they are consistent that this is a part for the 6-burner, a bigger model, and I have a 5-burner. This was crazy. Now remember, this furnace was only 6 years old. Wasn't that true? Because my house was only 6 years old. And this is a part that should never go back. So who put this incorrect part into the furnace? I decline to accept the idea that the manufacturer put it on. Wasn't that true? That would be too crazy. But if the manufacturer put the correct one on, how come it went back? Remember, it should never fail. So it's still a mystery. But I was quite convinced that that was an incorrect one. Well, should I go ahead to replace it? I struggle. I tell you the truth. I struggle a lot. Because of what? Because even though all the information told me it was not the right one, I need to get a smaller one, as a matter of fact. But should I really get a smaller one? Well, let's see what kind of consequence I may have. Okay, if I have a pressure switch with a smaller reading of water column, then even when my motor does not produce enough air, and that means enough oxygen for the gas to burn, okay? So this is not enough. Even that was the case, the furnace would still run and provide heat. Oh yes, and provide carbon dioxide. That would be super awfully dangerous. Wasn't that true? So I struggled for several days, even though I was convinced. Should I do it? Or should I not do it? And then I said, you know what? See? They screw up, right? You know, should I trust the professional? No. Either the manufacturer make the mistake or repair guy make the mistake. Should I really trust them anyway? I guess I should not. And the fact that I in fact have 3 carbon monoxide detectors inside my house. This is one I have, in fact, just by that furnace, and I have 2 upstairs in the living area. The furnace is in the basement. I have 3 carbon monoxide detectors. How bad can that be? It's probably not going to be too bad, isn't it? Right? Even though it's super dangerous, I think that I need to accept the danger and just go ahead to order the right part and replace it. And that's what I did. Okay, so the replacement procedure is very easy. You see, these are the 2 screws that hold the pressure switch on the furnace. Just take them out. And then there are several connectors. So 2 connectors connected by air, and you see the 2 tools are different. You cannot make mistake. You just plug it in, this one and that one the same color anyway. And then you have 2 electrical connectors. The connector themselves are different also. There's no way you make mistake. Just put it in and you're done. Okay, and this is the correct part now. Let's look at my parts. Okay, it's not very easy to see the number, but now you see the number is here. That's the right one. And what's the reading here? The reading here is 0.65 WC. Now I tell you though, if you notice just now, the incorrect one was 0.9 water column, and that's why it is open all the time, and the furnace could not give my family enough heat for quite a while. Since then, the furnace worked really well, and we are very happy about it. But this was the story and the procedure that I fixed it. There are several things we learned here, though, I guess. Okay, is that, well, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I tend to trust a professional because I myself is a professional in some other disciplines. But on the other hand, is that really what we should do sometimes? I would say that be very careful, like I did. I was happy that I was super careful. Okay, I did not draw a conclusion really quickly. I did all the research, find all the resources available, and double check, triple check, because this is a super important part that for safety, right? And have backup, etc. So be very careful. But if all the information are consistent, then I would say go ahead and do it. Especially in my case, I indeed have 3 carbon monoxide detector. It could not be dangerous in that case. Anyhow, I hope you like these videos. If you want to get the same carbon monoxide detector that I have, in fact, that is a carbon monoxide plus gas detectors. I provide a link below to Amazon that you can get the same one. It's a very good one, by the way. Okay, it's a very good one. I like it. If you need to replace your pressure switch and you happen to have the same one, I also provide a link on Amazon that you can get the same one. But be careful. Do your research, make sure it is a correct one before you do it, and I just told you how to replace it. The procedure itself was super simple, but the story was kind of crazy. Okay, of course, when you do it, be very careful. Make sure you turn off the power before you do anything. Okay, I did not mention that just now. I hope you enjoy these videos. If you like it, please make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.